Hi, today we will be making a Java program using the application Eclipse, and this is for the instruction manual. Um, so first, what you're going to want to do is make sure you have the application Eclipse. If you don't have it, it's pretty easy. Just Google Eclipse for Mac or Windows, um, and you're just going to want to click on it. And this application is a tool to make Java applications. You can create your code on it. You can go ahead, you can make your code on the regular terminal, just typing in hard code, but this application will catch your errors. It's a lot easier, and a lot of times you'll just have one little mistake in hundreds of lines of code, and in the terminal it wouldn't tell you, but in here it'll tell you where your error is. So first, what you're going to do is look at the top. This is your toolbar. The main button we're going to be using is this one, this green one. It's how you run your program. You just click on it. So first, what you're going to do is, and this is the where you write your code, and then the console will pop up when you run your code. So on the left, this is where you keep all your projects. So first, what you're going to do is File, New, Java Project. This is creating a whole new file. And we'll just name it population estimate, because that's what we're going to be doing. So what you're going to first have to do is create a class. So what I do is right click, new class. You can also do that from the file. So we're going to name it. We can just name it for short, pop est, and then we'll check the public static void main box. And it says this already exists, so I'll just make a different one. You can't have the same one twice. So then you're going to click finish. It goes ahead and kind of creates a structure for how we're going to make our program. So just really quickly, I don't like to use that. So really quickly, the class is where you're going to input all of the code. Nothing goes outside of these two brackets. And this is called the main method, where we're going to be working today. In other programs, you can have other methods, but in this simple one, we're just going to have one method where we run our code. So the program we're going to be making today is it's going to estimate the final population after a certain amount of years in the United States. So we're given this information. Every 7 seconds there's a birth, every 13 seconds there's a death, and every 40 seconds there's an immigrant in the United States. So using this information, we are going to calculate a final population over a certain amount of time. So first what we're going to do is figure out on a basic level how many births, deaths, and immigrants there are per minute. So what we're going to do is we're going to make variables that hold information, and in this case it's going to be numbers. So there's integers and then there's doubles, and integers are only whole numbers. Doubles are, you can have decimals. So for the sake of this program, we're going to use doubles because it can be more accurate. So what you're going to do first is you're going to put in double. That declares the type of variable that you're going to have. And then you're going to have the name, so we're going to make it births per minute. And then equals, and then you put what the number is. So there's 60 seconds in a minute, and then we're going to divide it by the how often there is a birth, so every 7 seconds, and you're going to do 7.0. If you did 60 divided by 7, it would round it, and that's not what we want. So this is just how Java works. So, and we're going to do that for deaths per minute. You can call the variables whatever you want. 13, one death every 13 seconds. And then immigrants, double, shorten it, and one every 40 seconds. So now that we have that, the next piece of information we need to find is how many per year. So again, it's going to be a double, birth per year. We have a Y instead of an M. And then how do we find that? We get the burst per minute, and we need to find years. So we're going to do birth per minute, and this references this. Multiply it times 60 minutes in an hour, 24 hours in a day, 365 hours in a year. And make sure you have a semicolon after every line. This is very, very important. If you don't, it's going to declare an error message right here. You don't want that. Next, we're going to do the same for deaths. Times 60, 24, 365. And then the same for immigrants. And then we're going to need a way for the user to input a year, so or amount of years. So we're going to have to import the scanner class, which is a way that the keyboard can connect to the program. It's called the scanner. So you're going to type this in the top, import java.util.scanner. Make sure the cases are correct. And then down here, you're going to create a new scanner object, which is going to be an object in the program that collects data from the keyboard. So you're going to input scanner. This is the type of object. And then input is going to be your name. You can name it anything you want. The new scanner, you have to put system.in. This is the way that it knows that it's coming from inside or outside the system into it. Then you're going to create, next we're going to have to create a variable that that has the amount of the population at the single moment. So you're going to need that because the final equation to find the final population is the initial plus however many amounts we get from this data. So we're going to make it an integer because you can only have a whole person. You can't have a decimal of a person. So I went to the census website and it's this number, about 318 million, semicolon. And then we are going to, actually we can put this right here. The scanner is going to be used to find the amount of years. So we're only going to have an integer of years. Integer years equals, and then how we're going to find, how we're going to connect the user's input to this integer is going to be input dot, and this is referencing this scanner object, input dot next int, which is only going to collect the next integer. So if they put in a string, won't work. And also a string is a word. It's just a keyword for it. So next we're going to need the equation for the final population. The final population is going to be an integer because, again, you can only have a full person, equals, so it's going to be the initial pop, right there, plus years times, in parentheses, and we're going to add the birth per year minus death per year plus immigrant per year, because deaths you're losing number. It gives an error here, so let's see how we're going to find. We're going to click right here. It cannot convert. See, these are doubles, and this is an integer. So the only way you can convert them into an integer is to cast it. So what you're going to do is you're going to do this. You're going to do parentheses integer, and you're going to put parentheses over the whole thing. So what it does is converts this to an integer. So now it can fill in the spot of final population. So now that we have all the data, we just want to make it look pretty. So you're going to use the system.out.print, and we'll put it at the end right here. So what we're going to do is, actually we'll put the first part at the beginning, because it's the first thing that's going to pop up. So we're going to do system.out.print. This is going to print it on the console, and this is in print line right there. We're going to put enter an amount of years. So this is going to prompt the user to enter an amount of years, and you want to make it look nice. So you're going to enter the amount of years right here, and then this is where the computer does all the calculations for us. And then at the end, we're going to print out using the same way as at the top. We're going to print out final population. This refers to right here. And now all we have to do is test it. We'll run the code. Okay. Enter an amount of years. Let's say we do 7 years. Boom. That's our final population. So it looks like it increased about 20 million after 7 years. So that's just a very basic program that we can use. This is a very good example for if you want to maybe create some calculating app to calculate, things like this, so you don't have to type in, all these numbers in a calculator every time you want to find out something. Because if you're going to be using a lot of different, if you're going to be using this calculation time after time after time, if you create a computer program, all you have to do is enter one number, it'll shoot out the answer quick. And that's a lot of why people use Java programs, is because it makes life a lot easier. So yeah, that's about it. I hope this was useful, and thanks.